Trump sides with Putin as Biden tries to stop a war. It took only 24 hours for Donald Trump to hail Russian President Vladimir Putin's dismembering of independent, democratic, sovereign Ukraine as an act of genius. The former president often accuses his enemies falsely of treason, but his own giddy rush to side with a foreign leader who is proving to be an enemy of the United States and the West is shocking even by Trump's self-serving standards. As President Joe Biden reprises the fabled presidential role of leading the free world, the predecessor who wants to succeed him is showing Putin that impunity, dictator-coddling, and hero worship will return if he wins back the White House. As President Joe Biden reprises the fabled presidential role of leading the free world, the predecessor who wants to succeed him is showing Putin that impunity, dictator-coddling, and hero worship will return if he wins back the White House. Trump also sent an unmistakable message to Republicans, who are already playing into Putin's hands by branding the current president as weak. That siding with the U.S. foe is the way into the ex-president's affections ahead of this year's midterm primaries. Trump didn't take long to make sure Putin knew he approved of his movement of troops into parts of eastern Ukraine, knowing that his comments would be picked up and beamed around the world. "I went in yesterday and there was a television screen, and I said, 'This is genius.' Putin declares a big portion of Ukraine. Putin declares it as an independent. Oh, that's wonderful," Trump said in an interview on the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton show. The ex-president added, "So Putin is now saying, it's independent, a large section of Ukraine. I said, how smart is that? And he's going to go in and be a peacekeeper." "That's the strongest peace force," Trump said. "We could use that on our southern border. That's the strongest peace force I've ever seen. Here's a guy who's very savvy, I know him very well. Very, very well." Trump was referring to Putin's declaration on Monday that he would regard two rebel regions of eastern Ukraine, where he has been fostering separatism, as independent in his order for Russian troops, which Putin misleadingly called peacekeeping forces, to reinforce the enclaves. The move was a flagrant violation of international law, was resonant of the tyrannical territorial aggrandizement of the 1930s that led to World War II and was, as Biden said on Tuesday, tantamount to the beginning of a Russian invasion. In effect, the ex-president is trying to undermine U.S. foreign policy as the current president tries to stop a war that could kill thousands of people and threaten the post-Cold War peace. But it's unsurprising Trump would praise anything Putin does, given his genuflecting to the Russian leader while in office. Given that he tried to stage a coup that would have destroyed U.S. democracy, it's hardly shocking either that he's not fretting at the loss of Ukrainian freedom. Trump once stood side by side with Putin at a Helsinki summit and trashed U.S. intelligence agencies that said Moscow had interfered in the 2016 election to help him. And Trump tainted Ukrainian democracy himself, seeking to extort President Volodymyr Zelensky into announcing an investigation into his then Democratic rival, Biden, abuse of power that earned him the first of his historic two impeachments.